Sometimes I feel I've got to
Get away.
Yo, what it is, guys? Welcome back to the Chop Shop. If you can't tell, I got a big smile on my face because, as I mentioned in the last video, my DJM drop beams have come in. They also hooked your boy up with a handful of shorts and like all of the stickers. Like legit, all of them. Just a whole stack of stickers. So thanks, guys. I appreciate that. That's what's up. Those are for sure gonna get rocked, but not right now because it's like 90 and I'm about to get real dirty. So I like them shirts. I don't want to ruin them. Anyway, again, on a previous episode, I had mentioned that my truck is sitting like this because I've literally just pulled the coil spring out of it. It's sitting on its bump stops. And if you can't tell on camera, I took the effort to makeshift up a little level here. And look at that. Look at the camber. Now, reason that is happening is because this is a I-beam suspension truck, not your typical like A-arm suspension like most other cars, trucks are. As you see, there's literally just two beams, and then there's a spindle there, and they cross each other just like that, not facing that direction, but then they just pivot. As you see, like I said, your spindle and your axle will be here, your hub, and there's no really adjustment here. I believe there's a key. You can play that a little bit, but when you lower these things, like so, it makes the tires tilt in. When you lift them, they tilt out. Now, that actually tends to work out for like the pre-runner off-road suspension guys, because these things have tons of travel. I'm going to show you that here in just a little bit. But what these I-beams do is these are 3-inch drop beams. They are going to give me a 3-inch suspension drop in the front without the negative camber effects. Now, I'd like to add at the end of this, I'll probably still have some negative camber because I am also going to run 3-inch drop springs. That isn't DJM's fault. DJM does these to lower your truck without creating the camber. I'm adding the extra 3 inches in, which is going to give me some. I'm sure there's a little bit of adjustability in there, but well, that'll be the alignment shop's problem. I'll try and get it set up the best I can, but real quick, I want to show you just how much suspension travel this actually has, and you can watch my little makeshift jig here go out, and we'll see how much it flexes before it finally comes off the ground. We'll go up underneath the truck, maybe. I might just go ahead and tear all that stuff off, and we'll do a side-by-side comparison. But so, as you can see, bottomed out. Can't get a good get it off the pot here. Get off here. Get out of the way. It's still not really a good representation of it, but I mean, look at all the suspension travel these I-beams have before that tire starts to lift off the ground. And on this side is bottomed out on fucking the bump stop, words and stuff. But I think these are actually going to let me sit lower than that, because I think the drop happens up here. So I'm hoping it's going to tuck that white wall up into the fender a little bit more, and otherwise I'll just put a couple pounds of air in the back and make it sit level. But also the weight of the engine will be in there too. But enough yakking, let's do some work. Wow. Here we go, guys. Just gonna give you a real quick look-see before I tear everything apart. I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble, obviously, all of this while the beam's on, just because it makes sense. But it appears that the DJM kit has a drop adapter, and I think it's actually gonna take it all the way below the, that's a control arm. I do believe, don't quote me on that yet. I've not full-blown torn any of the instructions or started the install, so. But I've actually had the other side apart before because my control arm bushing was completely, like, it was just missing. It's actually got an energy suspension bushing on that side. I have one for this side that needs to be installed. And I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with my shock situation yet. I don't know. I haven't looked if they make a... Oh no! Not my shirts, no! Mother Nature is trying to steal my shirts. I had to rescue them bad boys real quick. Don't know what I'm going to do with my shock situation. I don't know if they make a drop bracket for these, or if I can just get a shorter shock. I might have to do both, but I'm going to kind of have to wait to see where this thing is sitting when I get it all put back together with the spring and everything in it. Which reminds me, I have to order. But just wanted to show you the kind of the factory configuration, and I'll probably nab a few pictures of it while it's all apart. Obviously gonna do a brake job. Probably ought to go ahead. Yeah, you ought to just replace everything. Replace everything. The calipers work just fine, but we'll do pads, rotors, wheel bearing. Probably ought to replace all the joints. I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, let's tear this all apart, and I'm just gonna throw everything side by side. I don't want to. It's all boring stuff. If you want a real quick run through of what I'm gonna do, I'm basically gonna disconnect my tie rod end here on both sides, and then right here in the center section, just go ahead and get that out of the way. There's one bolt that holds the control arm. There's one bolt that goes through the I-beam and the control arm, and then just like this guy right here on the other side, this is the bolt that holds the end of the control arm in on that side. Replicate this side on that side. So it's real quick and basic. I mean, that's the only thing unique about the front end of the suspension. Everything else is, I mean, just like every other suspension. I mean, it's calipers, rotors, spindle, standard steering components. But let's get this apart. Check out side-by-side stuff. I'm gonna have to order a bunch of stuff, but this is my prime objective right there. It's these bad boys right now. Oh guys, I wish I could have. I wish I woulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda talk. I can't talk. I tore this apart in 45 minutes. Under that, actually, because I posted on the gram. Started attacking this. If you can't tell, it's still apart. Boom. All right, guys. So like I was saying, I had to move all the suspension and everything too. But I think it's getting ready to storm on me. But it took me 40 minutes, and I bet I could have done that with my basic hand tools, just right here, and my impact. But it took me 40 minutes, unplanned. Didn't necessarily know what tools I needed. I mean, it's old, so everything's standard. But super simple. I'm gonna have to get on the horn, get some parts ordered. And again, my plan is to get these things slung up in here, hopefully. I could probably at least get these spindles cleaned up, get the beams in there, and start assembly. But I'm definitely not putting all this nice stuff on here and putting these nasty grody brakes and all this crap back on. I'm cleaning everything up and painting it. Plus, like I've been saying, I want to drive this thing on the Power Tour. I'm going to put some miles on this thing, so everything needs to be tip-top as far as functionality. So we definitely doing brakes, bushings, cleaning, painting. She's only going to be rough on the outside, really, but we'll be back. Ooh, guys. My fucking Briggs & Stratton little electric pressure washer came in. And it may not be a big deal to most, but if you come check out my driveway from all the grodiness I'm constantly getting into, I am slowly but surely destroying my driveway with oil spots and shit. And this thing, light work at it. Look at that. Look at that. weeds and everything. Hell yeah. Do some car washing. Windows are down. It's okay. It's okay. And after I get all this done, I'm gonna head over to your mom's house because she for sure needs some pressure to clean up. Stinking ass. Oh, bliggity blow. What up, guys? It's a couple days later, and I had some time to start cleaning up the garage a little bit, organized a little bit. Suspension tore down a little bit more, and I'm to the point where these kingpins got to come out so I can ditch my factory beams here. And if you didn't notice, when I turned around, I happen to have a press in the garage. So I got to give another shout out to Peter. I brought him up in a previous video. Him and his buddy Charles are where the Y block came from, and he is where this press came from. He's letting me borrow this thing real quick so I can knock these out. So much appreciated. Thanks, man. And if he doesn't mind, I didn't fire up the camera while I was there because he just had so many toys. He's got a lot of cool stuff. I'm gonna see if he doesn't mind if I do like a real quick feature. But I mean, I don't even want to give you like a clue, but he's got just cool stuff. It'll be definitely worth checking out. But without further ado, I'm gonna get back to work, get these pins out, get this stuff cleaned up, sling some paint on them, and then, like I keep saying I'm gonna do, probably do like a side-by-side, start putting that back together. I got parts coming in, my all my tie rod end pieces, bearings. I'm waiting on brakes. Everything in the front's gonna be new. All of the things. So stay tuned. Ooh, guys, I thought this episode was gonna fall apart. It still might a little bit, but I do have success. Even after borrowing this 12-ton press from Peter, I couldn't balance the I-beam and the spindle and keep it stationary to press that pin out. It's just, there's a lot going on. And basically what I resorted in doing is I just kind of thored it out, man. I busted out my hammer of success here, and I stood, the spindle is just upside down. So like this, you see? And I just balanced them between my legs here. Should have made a video of it, just like I should have made a video pulling the suspension apart. But then I just grabbed I mean, it doesn't even matter, just so long as they're smaller than the hole. These are just some DeWalt impact sockets and my hammer of smite. And I beat these dudes right out. And they didn't even fight me. Believe it or not, this press was twisting, and I had C-clamps and heavy-duty pieces of metal holding that, I-beam them in place, and it still wasn't taking it. I even took some, see the torch is still sitting there, I even took heat to them. But, oh yeah, we got success. We can get these bad mamma jammas cleaned up. Now, I'd like to add that there are, this still has its brass seals in it. The kit that I ordered actually comes with nylon ones. It's kind of whatever. It does save you a trip to the machine shop, because I believe the nylon ones just go in. You have to have these ones honed so that your pin fits through. Because after you beat these in, these actually close, and makes the pin too small. You've got to hone them out to the size of the pin. But let's get these cleaned up. Peep it, guys. Got going on is I just degreased, pressure washed everything, you know, the normal grind. You know, I didn't include you in it, just doing work. Degreased, power washed, wire wheeled. I ran out of paint, but these are the factory dust shields, heat shields, whatever you want to call them. They've got a high temp engine enamel primer and paint on them, but I ran out. Same thing for the spindles, completely disassembled. Wire wheeled, pressure washed, what? I don't know, all same shit. Over here, same as well, except I went with my oil paints, super thick Rust-Oleum. Probably do another coat on these, but then like I said, these are the ones that are on it. But these are energy suspension bushings. I got the other ones over there somewhere. But check this out. Finally finally can kind of do a side-by-side here. And obviously, on the right here is the DJM drop beams that I got. Over here is factory. And sitting side by side, you can see where your 3 inches of drop comes. Obviously, where the spindle sits is that 3-inch difference. But also, like I said, when you lower these, it causes the negative camber, so the top of the wheels cock in. These take care of that, so you get 3 inches of drop without the negative camber. And again, like I stated before, I am also doing a 3-inch spring drop on this, so I am going to have some negative camber, but not nearly to the effect I would have had I done like, that was a 6-inch drop, basically. I took the springs out and it dropped like basically 5-6 inches with the factory I-beam. My tires will not be nearly as cambered as they were. But I got parts upon parts. I'm waiting on parts. Here's the adapters for the tie rods. I'm waiting on my outers. I got my little inner guy here and the middle bracket. I don't know what we're going to call that. But these are drop adapters for these. Hopefully my springs don't interfere or make that worse. That would suck. I just thought about that. But just an OEM replacement. Rotors and pads. Got my bearings, waiting on the seals. Got new kingpins. And like I said, pretty much everything is getting replaced. I mean, what I can save or reuse, obviously, you know, there's no sense in replacing these. They're just, you know, a shield. They were still in great shape. Just cleaned them up, painted them. Those are getting reused. Those are getting reused. Those are getting reused. I still got to clean up the brake calipers. Those are going to get cleaned up. A high temp paint as well. They worked perfectly fine. 0 issues with them. I'm not replacing them. This truck isn't going to make I mean, it's going to be making double its power, but it only made, you know, basically, let's say, like, what the hell did it make? Like 130 horse, I think, is what this 302 made in 78. I'm looking at making closer to 200. I don't know if I'll actually hit 200, but I think I'll get real close to it. My torque number should be nice. Should be nice. I did build it more for more torquey and low range cruising purposes like that. I'm not trying to rev this thing real high or anything, but there was no need to go heavy duty on the brakes or anything like that. Just OEM. It's a very small cost difference to upgrade to aftermarket bushings, so going ahead and doing that. But when we return, in all honesty, I don't know where we'll be because I'm waiting on stuff and I work throughout the week, and this is a lot of work. And if I'm being honest, this might be a two-parter. I don't know that with the week going down. It's my birthday week. Actually, Thursday? Thursday is the 18th, I think. This video drops on birthday. Happy birthday, me. But, yeah. I want to include I want to reinstall this on video. I kind of regret not doing the teardown on video, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. I mean, it's all kind of common sense stuff, at least in my opinion. But these do matter, left to right, like front to back, so it's gonna be relevant. Obviously, spindle side to side. There are some things that matter that you want to be careful with. And then when it's all said and done, and it finally hits the road, it'll need an alignment, because I can't do that. I mean, I can half-ass do that, but it'll be all new everything. I can just slap it in place, and you know, it won't be hard for a shop to do. They normally have a base price per axle anyways. I'm obviously only aligning the front. You can't align a leaf spring axle, so that's probably what we'll do. But I'm going to quit talking and jump forward to wherever I happen to be when we jump forward. Yes. Nice, clean, pretty parts. Yes. Alright guys, so it's a few days later again here, and as I previously showed you, I finally got a pressure washer. And while I have all of this completely clean and off the truck and painted and pretty, I'm gonna go ahead, knock some of this out. I'm also gonna pressure wash my frame all the way up around here. Do the same thing I did to the parts and the rear section of the frame. Wire wheel this, sling some Rust-Oleum oil-based paint on it. I'm gonna be honest, like I said before, this is probably gonna be a 2-part episode. Believe it or not, initially I didn't totally intend on replacing everything I did. I turned around and decided to replace all of the everythings. So, and it's a lot of work, but I mean, these are a really nice piece. I do have some money into them, and why would I put, you know, nasty wore out bearings and bushings and brakes and kingpins and everything on a nice piece like that? It didn't make sense, and I put all that effort into the rear. I mean, if you're new to the page and haven't checked out, and I'm not done yet, but you know, we've got our bed floor done here. Besides the wood that goes over it, you know, we got the notch. We got to get our shock mounts and everything in there, but we got our flip kit, our D-jam, drop shackles, and everything. You know, we put all that effort into the rear, so I'm going to do the same thing under the front. This thing is actually going to be a really solid, nice truck when it goes back together. It's just going to be rusty and natural patina. I mean, even the engine is going to be a jewel sitting in its engine bay. It's all going to be baby blue, just like the truck. Aluminum fin valve covers, aluminum intake. It's all going to be paint matched. Yeah. Again, enough rambling. I'm going to get some work done. Real quick though, I'm going to make this a real quick review of my pressure washer here. It is a very good unit. However, my biggest gripe is I got this. The plastic was completely molded over the threads. You could not thread this on either way, and they're actually labeled. So this end goes to the gun. Obviously there's a picture of the gun on it. Same thing on the machine. Picture of the machine goes to that side. But I actually had to get a knife and chisel all this plastic out of here for this to even thread on. It was completely unthreadable. And I expect a little bit more from Briggs & Stratton, to be honest. I know this is an electric engine compared to their gas ones, which, you know, have always been of top quality, but that did annoy me. Also, all of the fittings were loose. Like anything that has an O-ring, threads was all loose. I had to go back through and basically tighten, just double check everything. But other than that, it's a nice little unit, but let's get to using it. Wow, just got done washing the truck up and the dog, and they're right yummy. But look at that difference. That's pretty much bare metal and bare wares. Wares, my nerds, my friends. She came surprisingly clean all around, all the way through, and yeah. As much as I hate to say it, I'm probably gonna wire wheel some of this, at least probably around my suspension components, probably at least my frame rails. But I'm not gonna bore you with that, and I don't know how long this episode is at this point, but I know it's getting pretty long. And I hate to let you down, but I'm not gonna get to installing these on this episode. Like I said, it's a lot of work, a lot of parts, a lot of money, a lot of time. There will be a part 2 of this. I don't intend on carrying it on to a part 3. When we come back, my frame and everything will be complete. My frame and everything will be cleaned, painted. You see all this is already cleaned and painted. So we're gonna get to install. And you know, like I said, I blew this apart without giving you a rundown. It's kind of common sense stuff, but I do want to show you, at least in like a time lapse, how to throw this stuff back together, and then we'll drop it back down. I do still have to get my drop springs ordered. Kind of been on a spending spree here lately after selling the car and whatnot, but get those ordered soon. Oh, real quick, I gave him a shout out before. I'm gonna give Roger, Psychopath Rehab, on the gram a shout out again. He mailed me some OG Craftsman paint guns. Him and I were talking about the fact that I wanted to paint my truck. He sent those to me. They need gaskets and stuff, but he also sent me, and they're buried under some other stickers and stuff too, but he sent me a bunch of stickers. He sent me a multi-tool. He sent me a bunch of cool stuff. Thanks, dude. That's awesome. I got some stuff coming for you too, so watch out for that. We are at 227 subscribers now. Hell yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like I kept saying, there's more and more and more and more to come. Finally getting this front end done. I don't know if I'm going to get to it this week, but the engine is going to the machine shop very soon. Very, very soon. And once that happens, I'm going to spend some more money, start getting that short block together. But wrap this up, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share while you're here. Help the channel grow. The more the channel grows, the more companies are more likely to work with me, and I can get some cooler stuff. I mean, I'm a little guy, and I try to show you I'm paying for everything I do myself. All my little rinky-dink tools, you know, I make stuff happen. And I got to give an infinite amount of thank yous to DJM for working with me on these suspension components. I can't thank you guys enough. And they hooked me up with a bunch of stickers and shirts to go along with everything. Like I said, I'm rocking the drop beams and the shackles and hangers in the rear, you know, along with the flip kit and springs and everything. That's where we're getting our extra low from. But for like the 10th time now, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm out of here. Deuces.